Good morning. My name is Dr. Ralph CHERIZA, and I thank you for welcoming me into your living room, your dining room, wherever you are watching. We will be bringing you this show every week to talk about community stuff, community affairs, to answer the question, how do we strengthen the Haitian community? I've been here in Palm Beach County for the longest time, since 1994, and this is an ongoing conversation. But on this platform here, we will push the envelope a little bit. We will ask questions that may be uncomfortable. Today, what I wanted to do is set the stage and give you a sense of my belief system, because that will guide the conversation we will be having with the guests that we're going to have. Today is just me talking to you. But the question is, how do we strengthen this community? And the premise of this conversation is that we are not strong, despite our sheer number. You could look at the number of Haitians living in South Florida. You can look at the number of Haitians living in New York, for that matters, or Boston, or Chicago. We have a growing Haitian community in Hawaii now, in Indiana, even in Utah. But are we strong enough to make sure that our voices are heard, that people understand where we're coming from? And when we say the Haitian community, they can look at us with respect and understand that we matter. You do not have an impact just based on the fact that you have this many people there. The question is, are you organized enough? And we will have that question because I do not believe that we are organized. We aspire to certain things. We want to show strength, but we're not where we're supposed to be. And that's a conversation we will have, and I welcome anybody. Whether you agree or disagree with me, and that's the beauty of this show, we will have disagreements. And I welcome anybody to come and we have that conversation about the things that we disagree about, because when we discuss those disagreements, when we have dissenting opinions, it helps us get better perspective. This show will be there. We will start with a weekly broadcast. Then we'll see, based on how the conversation is going, how we move to a daily broadcast. But it's up to you to make this show, to give this show the clout that it needs, to make the conversation relevant. I'll give you a sense of historical perspective as to why I believe this is an important conversation to have. Back in 1994, when I just arrived here, I looked at, arrived in Palm Beach, I looked at the radio, the media, the Haitian media, what we call the Haitian media then. At that time, it was mostly 13, I don't even remember the frequency, but it was Voix de Palm Beach who was there, and everybody else, they go to Fritz Altido, they get the airtime and everything, and we were trying. Later on, we had 1190 AM, we had other stations, but mostly we were leasing airtime from different groups. The suggestion then is, how do we come together as broadcasters? But then you have that first meeting, and then after that, things didn't work quite the way we were hoping, because we are not as organized as we hope or need to be. Then after that, there was, back in 2014, we called for the Palm Beach County Haitian leadership. And at that time, it was not just Palm Beach County doing it. In Miami, they also had a leadership conference. And when the Haitian Neighborhood Center in Miami, they started having it, and they reach out to us in Palm Beach and say, would you have it? We had a number of town hall focus group, if you will, and then leading to the conference. It was great conversation. Spent a whole day with people from different backgrounds. We had the youth, we had Christians, we had non-believers, we had people who were in education, business people. We met for a whole day to look at what are the issues confronting our community. And a lot of recommendations were made during that conversation. But we still were not organized. We were talking about the issues, we were talking about the challenges. But the question then was, how do we meet those challenges? What are the resources that we need to do that? Here's another example that I will give you. Back in 2011, we hosted at Lane University what was called the Haiti Education Forum. We had over 100 educators of Haitian background from here, from Haiti, from Canada. And when I say here, I'm talking about the United States because we had people from Florida, but we also had people from Boston, we had people from New York. For 3 days, we met at Lane. And I remember making the statement that if all we do is to sit and talk about the problems, we would be wasting our time. We have to be committed to follow up actions. We have to be willing to say, this is our time and this is our responsibility, and we're going to do whatever it takes with the little that we have. We cannot keep our eyes on other people to come and solve our problems. We have to do it. A few years back, we also had in Palm Beach County an effort or an attempt to have a political action committee. But political action committee, they are effective when you organize yourself. You're able to say, this is what I'm gonna do. We talk a lot about the size of the Haitian community. In fact, a few years ago, there was a report that says we are #1 in terms of nationality. When they look at immigrants from different countries, we had more immigrants from Haiti than any other country in Palm Beach County. Now, at that time, the argument that I made was, it's time for us to sit at the table instead of having a friend speaking on our behalf. And that's why at that time I pushed and supported to have a Haitian, a commissioner of Haitian background at the Board of County Commissioners. And I did say at that time that we need to have someone also at the board, the school board, because we need to be represented. We need our voices to be heard. And I say voices because the Haitian population is not one group that thinks the same way. We see things from different perspectives, but the question is, how do we allow a conversation that takes into account those different perceptions and allow people who have dissenting opinions to have a seat at the table and have that conversation with us? So at every instances of those initiatives that I talk about, we see a willingness to come and talk. But the commitment to take action, that's a constant. That was the one thing that's always not there because we're waiting. We're waiting for something to happen. We're waiting for someone. We hope somebody else will come and fix the problem. There was a time and we had a lot of involvement in gangs from Haitian youth. The question, what have we done as a community to address that? How do we solve it and not wait for the school district or the Board of County Commissioner or the police to address it? how can we have elders from the community to come together and say, we will fix it? And we know that some people may argue we have broken families and therefore that's why it happens. But we cannot just cross our arms and hope somehow the problem will go away. The problems that we face, yes, they are challenging, but the only way to solve them is when we as a community come together and we say, we will address it. We will fix it. We will do the heavy lifting that needs to be done so that we can address it. So today, what I'm asking you is to be open to a conversation about issues facing the community. Even when you talk about businesses, there was a time also what I suggested was let's have a chamber of commerce. A chamber of commerce serves specific purposes. When those of you who are member of Liquith Chamber of Commerce or Boynton Beach Chamber of Commerce or Delray or Boca or even the Black Chamber of Commerce, you know that they have specific purposes. And those purposes are not related to politics, although sometimes you can find those Chamber of Commerce being very vocal because they are contributing to political races. But the primary purpose is to allow business people to have their voices at the table. That way, when legislations are being drafted, you have representatives who can go and say, from the perspective of this group, this is what we want. So how do we have a conversation where the leaders of this community, business leaders of this community, they organize themselves in such way that when Tallahassee is making decision, or even the Board of County Commissioners is making decision, we have someone who can say, from the Haitian business perspective, this is what we want. So these are the things that we will challenge you on to make sure that we have those conversations. Even you look at churches, we complain a lot of time that they are not organized, but how do we get them to take action and have a different way of doing things? How do we have several organizations of pastors. How do we force that conversation and say, when are we gonna work together? It's not gonna happen just because we wish it will happen. We have to be very intentional about the things that happen. I believe or challenge in Haitian, in Palm Beach County, or in the diaspora, if you want to expand it to that, and even in Haiti, is a leadership challenge. Leadership is not about making statements that cause people to look at you and feel that, oh yeah, this is a great guy, but how do you challenge people to do things that they would not otherwise do? So sometimes when you're in a position of leadership, you will have positions that people do not like. You will have instances where people say, what are you talking about? But because you have a vision of where you want to go, and you have a plan, and the plan takes into account the challenges, the obstacles, and you develop strategies that are consistent to them, so that you mobilize the resources that you need to get to where you need to get. So we will have those conversations here. And again, I will put the emphasis on the fact that those conversations will be very difficult and at times controversial. I'll give you another example. A couple of years ago, I believe it was 2015, and by we, I mean a lot of community leaders, we push the school district. We say, please tell us exactly how our children are performing in schools. And they did release a very comprehensive report on the performance of Haitian students in the school district. That report was distributed among stakeholders to have a sense of what need to happen. But once the report was released, what did we do with it? We had the information. One, when you look at the Haitian media, there was no conversation about that report. And to me, that was detrimental. Because the media is supposed to be that channel through which we discuss and bring those issues to light so that people can understand what they're up against. I want to believe that with this channel, we can have those conversations. We can look at reports like that and bring people, educators, to the table and say, what are we doing and how do we do it? Now, sometimes what ended up happening is that, and that's what happened after the release of that report, you had a number of people who came together and say, let's do something. And they wanted to have a center where students would be, they would identify the students who are struggling, do an assessment of need. University of Central Florida was willing at that time to give them a tool for the assessment of those students. And that assessment would take into account the whole family dynamic to see what is causing that student not to perform. And then they would have a family engagement specialist who would go to the school, talk to the teachers, talk to the guidance counselors, understand the dynamic, and come up with a plan. And that plan would entail tutoring and mentoring. But because there was no community support, although that was very impressive in the formulation of the program, but we could not go further except to do a trial which revealed that this approach was working. Because 10 out of 10 of the students who were involved in the trial programs, they improved their grade. And some of them, they were having issues in the school, getting into fights and everything. We were able to make an impact, to have an impact on them. When we're not having those conversations, the limited resources that we have, they cannot have an impact. So we have to have, I believe the media has a very critical role to play in allowing people from different backgrounds to come to the table and have conversation. But when we have those conversations, please do not bring the cancel culture here to say, oh, I disagree with that person, therefore do not bring him on this platform anymore. We will have conversation with people we strongly disagree with. I'm open to that conversation. When I'm teaching at Palm Beach State, I allow students to challenge me. I allow students to say, Professor CHERIZA, I disagree, and here's why I disagree. It's the same approach that I want here. I want people to be able to say, I disagree and this is why. I want to give people the space and the opportunity to formulate their ideas about strengthening this community. One of the idea that I had is to make sure that when we're talking about the Haitian electorate, to understand how many we have who can vote, where are they? Have the idea of a database of Haitian voters. I still believe this is important because when you have someone who say, I'm in Wellington and I want to run for city council, then you know we have 300 Haitian who can vote that we are in communication with in Wellington. And you can organize them and say, I can have you talk to them. It gives the Haitian community a much stronger position. And if you organize them, then you can identify needs that they may have. And it's a better conversation than saying that I need this position or that position. Will you hire me when you get elected? Because that's illegal. So how do we have those conversations? Now, some people talk about center, Haitian center. Let's just have a Haitian center. You know, we had many of them before. And we lost them because why? They were not doing what they're supposed to do, and the media was not there to question them. So I believe that when the media is playing the role of an advocate and is willing to go and look for information and report and investigate what people are doing and bring it, I'm not talking about gossip, but an investigation that would give you facts that you bring to the table and you ask questions, then the community benefit from that process. So I invite you on this journey that will be interesting, but it will also be challenging. It is interesting, in fact, because it's going to be challenging. We have conversation with one another. I'll be standing here with friends that may disagree with me on a number of things. I want to talk to those who are involved politically and say, what are you doing? When on this platform, I will interview candidates of Haitian background. But when I'm interviewing them, I will ask them the question, what are you doing to identify the vote that you need? I want to know that they have a very a good understanding of what it takes to win the race. I want to make sure that we're not just voting for someone just because they're Haitian, but they have a clear understanding of what they need. I talked to someone one time who was running for a position. And when I have the conversation and I asked, so why are you running for this position? And everything, he went into this tirade, and everything that he said had nothing to do with the position that he was running for. When we do that, we weaken the community. And I know since we had the election of Mark Bernard, a lot of people feel, oh yeah, let me run also. Let me run. But we need to make sure that we identify qualified candidates. And qualified candidates are not people who just come on radios or TVs and say, oh, I'm loved by the community, they're gonna vote for me. But people who understand the specific race, the strategy that needs to be developed for them to win that race, and the things, they have a good sense of what they're gonna do and how they're gonna do it. Like someone who's running for city council and who's talking about immigration, which is not under the jurisdiction of a city council. We will bring those people here and ask them hard questions. That's what this show will be about. We will meet and have conversation about difficult situation with the goal of making sure that the community or communities all throughout America or even Florida, they're able to get to a better position, that they're able to perform better because they identify the needs and they are securing resources to make sure that they can meet those needs. That's the conversation that I'm interested in. That's the conversation that I'm willing to have. And that's the journey I invite you to join me on. You can reach me at 561-252-3735, 561-252-3735. And if you have idea in terms of things that we can discuss on the platform, you're welcome to do that. But again, get ready for conversation that may be controversial, but we want to push the envelope to have much needed conversation about community issues. And I believe that the issues that we face in Palm Beach County are issues that we also face in Broward County, in Dade County, in New York, in Pennsylvania, in everywhere else where we have Haitian community trying to assert themselves, trying to become something better. We can no longer, in 1994 when I came here, we had very few people working within the school district. Today you can go into any large business and you realize the person who's the manager is of Haitian background. So we need to behave differently. We need to we need to have a better vision of where we take this community so that we can be a strong, vibrant Haitian community. Are you willing to have that conversation with me? I cannot wait. I invite you on this journey. Let's go for the ride. And I promise you, it'll be interesting. My name is Dr. Ralph CHERIZA. It's a pleasure to join you on this journey. Bye.